Hello guys, today I'm going to be showing you a all-time tier list, one of the longest tier lists that I have to fucking make. And plenty of people might disagree with this, but I'm just going to go ahead and make it. First of all, we gotta go within like the freaking Xbox controllers, of course. And just to note out already, this does not count for third-party controllers. First-party controllers or what put on this tier list. So pretty much official controllers on this tier list here. And the official ones, or the first official ones on here, are the Xbox controllers. Now, the Xbox One kind of improved on everything else. That's why it's a bit higher on Xbox 360, because if you were to use a D-pad, I mean, come on, it's not even a D-pad. It's like more of like a hardened joystick or whatever. Now the Xbox original, it kind of was like maybe better, sort of like better, but like Xbox 360 was just kind of better within the buttons that you would use, unless you're not a claw person, that is. Um, but you don't really need to. The Duke version of the Xbox was like the American version until they released like a Japanese version, which is the one that's being used, at least currently right now during speedruns and shit. So that's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, I mean, Japanese controller is obviously better than a bulkier fucking controller. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Here we go for every DualShock controller. Now, you might be saying, why is the original one of the PS3 better than the PS4? Is the pad one a bit better? And I would say yes, it is a bit better. But to be real, during this time, it's like, if I were to say, like, you know, it's just another new kid on the block, if you know what I mean by that. And also, there's like a little motion, like, thing. This is little motion. It's kind of like Wii Remote, but like, just, it literally tries to be like that, but, eh. And also the one without, like, any analog sticks. Huh? I mean, that just, I don't know, man. I don't know. Just skip on. Alright, now here we go for the Nintendo GameCube and the Nintendo Switch controllers. Especially the Joy-Cons. I mean, they're significantly better than the Wii remotes. I mean, Wii remote. In fact, gosh, I shouldn't even say the story to be real with you. But basically, these controllers are like decently good, especially the GameCube controller. GameCube was just like, I don't know, it just feels special. Every time you press a trigger, every time you press a button, it actually does something. It actually feels pretty good, and especially within the brand offers as well. Xbox was way more successful back then, so people use these kind of controllers all the time. Therefore, they felt like very significant, They feel so significant over each other. And I feel that the GameCube controller doesn't really change all that much. It tries to be as iconic as the DualShock controllers and the Xbox controllers, which to me it's kind of a genius idea, but like, Nintendo Switch, after that it was just like, eh. It's pretty much like the cop out of, like, I would say Xbox controller. Xbox One still a bit better though. So here we get to Wii U and also to the Pro controller as well for the Wii U. I would say the Wii U controller was kind of set out of bounds to where like the joysticks were, or should I say, well, not joystick, but like the analog sticks. They were kind of like spread far out to each other, and that's what like no other gaming controller has really done, especially with the Wii U as well. I mean, like, it just seems random, but it mostly panned out okay. Here we go for every Wii controller here. Now, of course, I put the Wii remote and the Nunchuck Wii remotes separately because they're all both like very different controllers of how you interact with them. And especially the white controller that you're seeing here. I mean, come on, dude. Even even the fucking like Wii controller, the Pro one, it's at least better than your dumbass. I mean, the white one that's like literally has no grip into it. Here we go for every Super Nintendo or old Nintendo consoles of the controllers that they have to offer here. Now, here we go from the N64 to the NES and the gun, and also the one that's at the C. Now, the NS. Fuck, can I just call it a Super Nintendo? I'm sorry. Uh, so SNES controller. It's the controller that mostly pioneered like most of the controllers on this list. In fact, it kind of was the one that truly defined the 4-button layout. And even though the GameCube isn't exactly like a like straightforward like look into its design, the SNES controller mostly pioneered most of the controllers, except for maybe the GameCube. But I mean, it has 4 buttons. I mean, come on, you. I mean, come on, like four buttons. You can never go wrong with 4 buttons, especially within the other 4 buttons on this controllers. Except for maybe the gun one, and except maybe for the NES, but that's not really saying much. Here we go for every Sega controller, I guess. I don't know, like Sega. Is it a Sega Dreamcast? Yeah, Sega Dreamcast. I mean, it's a bit higher on this list because it's kind of like special, I should say. It's kind of a bit special, but like it has a bit something that's a bit more into it. Unlike the SNES controller, sure, it kind of pioneered like the 4-button layout and it had like a D-pad, but this one had a little analog stick, the Dreamcast, and it was like I think it was like a first one to like produce like an on-screen like controller thing. Sure, the Wii U, it's better than the Sega Dreamcast now, but back then, Sega Dreamcast was like the big thing. Um, Now the Sega controller on the E spot, you know, it's pretty cool actually. I mean, the D-pad on it, it's kind of a bit mushy, I should say. Even though I sound like some other person, don't add me, okay? And also the Microsoft controller, I think that is the kind of the same one, but like it's still a bit worse than the other predecessor. Like, come on. All right, now here we go for the Atari controllers. I guess. I mean, now that I look at the very bottom, like it says Sega. I can see when it says Sega now. Fuck. Oh man, I'm gonna get oofed. Shit. Either way. So here we got a Jaguar and we got like an Atari joystick. Jeez, man, that's like going back fucking 1800s. Oh, God, how many talking do I have to do? Well, I mean, it's not really much. The joystick, back then, a joystick used to be an actual thing and people would play on it. But if you were to play on it now, it's just completely, I mean just completely kind of garbage. I don't think you would use this in most fighting games and be like, yo, dude, I'm just ready to use this in a fighting game. No, dude, that would not go as well. I'm sorry. And here we go for the miscellaneous ones right here. Arcade stick, Virtual Boy, Atari TV controllers.